All right, let's jump right in. Today, we're unpacking a really serious situation coming out of Hollywood. It involves a very well-known actor and a filmmaker he collaborated with. We've got some pretty detailed allegations on one side and a completely firm denial on the other. So let's break down what's going on here.
So at the heart of all this, you've got two main people. First, there's Jeremy Renner. You almost certainly know him as Hawkeye from the Marvel movies. And on the other side, we have Yi Zhao, who's an accomplished Chinese filmmaker. The whole dispute centers on some pretty heavy claims of misconduct, both personal and professional. It really paints a picture of a working relationship that has gone south in a very public way.
So, just to be crystal clear about who's who, we have the accuser, filmmaker Yi Zhao, and then we have the accused, actor Jeremy Renner. Now, you might think this is all about their professional work together, and that's a huge part of it for sure. But the allegations, they actually go all the way back to their very first interactions. It suggests that this whole dynamic was, well, pretty complicated right from the get-go.
So to really get a handle on what's being claimed here, we've got to look at how this all supposedly unfolded. And what's interesting is that the story, at least according to Yi Zhao, doesn't even start on a film set. It apparently begins with private messages that then grew into a professional partnership.
Okay, so here's the alleged sequence of events, according to Yi Zhao's side of the story. It starts back in June of 2025. She claims Renner started sending her unsolicited nude photos and seemed to be romantically interested, through DMs and WhatsApp. Later on, that personal connection supposedly turned into a formal, written agreement for him to be in her movies. But then, after the movies were made, she alleges he just didn't promote them. And on top of that, she claims he let these false rumors spread around, like that his part in the film was just AI. The whole thing builds up to a direct confrontation about all of this.
And just so we're all on the same page about the professional side of things, this wasn't some casual handshake deal. We're talking about a written agreement for two specific film projects, Chronicles of Disney and Stardust Future Movie. These were produced by Zhao's own company. So yeah, there was a very real, formal business relationship right at the center of this whole thing.
From there, the conflict apparently escalated a lot. After all these alleged professional problems, Zhu says she finally confronted Renner about everything, and what she claims happened in that conversation, well, it's easily the most serious accusation in this entire story.
So according to Zhao, when she brought up her concerns, the lack of promotion, the rumors, Renner's response was allegedly a direct threat. A threat to call Immigration and Customs Enforcement ICE. As you can imagine, she described that moment as just deeply shocking and frightening.
And this really gets to the heart of why Yi Zhao says she decided to come forward with all of this. She says she felt like she had to finish the projects, even though she felt unsafe. But in the end, she decided she had to speak out. So for her, it seems this isn't just about a personal disagreement. It's about taking a stand against what she describes as completely unacceptable emotional and psychological pressure in a work environment.
Okay, so those are some incredibly detailed and, frankly, very serious claims. But that is only one side of the story. Now we have to switch gears and look at the official response from Jeremy Renner's team because they paint a completely different picture.
So the big question is, right, what does Renner's camp have to say about all this? Well, their response was, let's just say it was very direct, no ambiguity at all.
And there you have it. A representative for Renner gave a statement to the media, and they called the allegations totally inaccurate and untrue. I mean, that phrasing leaves absolutely no room for doubt. It's not a maybe or a partial denial. It's a complete blanket rejection of everything, every single claim Yi Zhao has made.
So, where does that leave us? Basically, at a standstill. You've got two stories that are complete polar opposites. There's no middle ground here, which puts this whole situation in a really tough spot publicly. A resolution feels pretty far off.
I mean, when you strip it all down, it really comes down to this. On one side, you have Yi Zhao's very specific allegations of misconduct, threats, and a broken professional agreement. And on the other side, you have Jeremy Renner's simple, absolute denial. These two versions of reality, they just can't both be true.
And that's really the question we're left with, isn't it? When it really comes down to one person's word against another's, with no other clear evidence out in the open, what comes next? Honestly, there's no easy answer. For now, this is where the story stands, leaving all of us to kind of wrestle with two completely different versions of what happened. Thanks for tuning in.